A lot of salespeople that come to me for coaching and or salespeople that I've worked with over the past 40 years, 40 plus years, one of the things that I notice about many people is that they're tight with money. I notice too that when I ask them about how they buy product, a lot of times they'll brag about, I'll say, how'd you buy this car? Oh man, I got the greatest deal. I got the last dime out of that car salesperson. Oh. And then when I'm out to lunch with them, they can barely dig for their money. They can barely reach their money for a sandwich or a coffee. Their arms are too short or their pockets are too deep. So the other thing is they're worried about other salespeople, or they're worried about the company. They're worried about the competition. I hear a lot of complaining, yada, yada, yada. And so what this is it's called a lack mentality, a scarcity mentality. So they don't believe that there's enough. There's certainly not enough money in their pocket to buy a sandwich. There's certainly not enough customers with all the competition out there. And they're even afraid the competition is going to take the existing customers that they have. So what does one need to succeed? What's the thought process? Well, one is to remember that you live in a universe, right? You got that? We're floating on a garden planet, a globe hurtling, some say a dirt ball hurtling 65,000 miles an hour through space. You just have to get that all that's required for life is right here on this globe in the midst of a vacuum. You don't have to understand it. Who cares if you get it or not? Just remember, it's a miracle. And then start to change your thinking. If you're worried about paying the bills, well, then you're always going to have that to worry about. What you resist in life persists. So here's what that means. If there's a customer that's telling you they just can't buy from you, and you start telling them just how great you are, you start vomiting all over them with hundreds of words, trying to convince them how great you are, you're resisting that they don't want to buy right now. You're resisting that they could care less about your goals, your money, your product, your ideas, your greed. The energy that you have resisting what the customer said, that they're not interested right now, they could never buy from you, whatever it is they say. You're too late, they got too many suppliers. I've heard all of these things. And you know what? Most of them ended up buying from me. I had one tell me, hey, oh, you, I could never buy from you. They looked at my name tag at a party. I turned around and said, how do you know I'd sell you? Eventually, I made that sale. It was almost $1 million. A little while later, another customer said, oh, no, you're too late. We could never buy from you. Oh, okay, no problem. I'm a little confused why you gave us the appointment. Well, we've got 16 suppliers, and we're going to go to one. How could we ever go to you? We've never done any business with you. I said, that sounds reasonable. Since you can't buy from me, tell me what's going on. I made that sale about 6 months later. So without telling you the whole story, that sale was also, that one in fact was over $1 million. I've made other $1 million sales and multi-million-dollar sales that started with people who weren't happy with me. They weren't happy with the company I worked for, or they weren't happy. They were happy with their existing supplier. They were happy with their circumstances, or they had never bought from us or purchased from me. And that's a reasonable place for someone to be in. But I didn't let that stop me, because I always thought there was plenty. I've always been generous with money. I never worried about having enough. In fact, the more I give, the more I get. I've studied the principles of it too. So the main thing to get over is your thinking. And it's called an abundance mentality. Remember, there's plenty of everything. There's plenty of customers who are unhappy with their existing suppliers, their existing software provider, their existing service provider. There's plenty of companies that are unhappy. You have to find them. There's also plenty of companies who say they're happy. That's how they start. Just accept it. Let it go through you. When you resist it, it persists. You'll keep finding plenty of people who won't buy from you. Have an abundance mentality. Buy the guy with you a sandwich. Give that guy on the street or gal on the street a few bucks in their cup. Don't be so tight. When you're tight, things are tight. And when you're shopping, pay full price. Give a double tip. Be generous. Salespeople should be the most generous people in the world because you get what you give in life. So if you're expecting more sales and for people to be generous with you and to pay full price, you pay full price. Have fun doing it. Don't be so tight. It's only money. Thanks.